Hey, and we're back for section two of game review of quite possibly the best games ever played on Sean's end.
Oh, Kevin, let me state for the record.
Yeah.
But go on. I don't want to interrupt.
No, we'll take that down as complaints or something like that. Oh no, my VLC is dying. Sorry about the stream crashing there. I basically almost went live, and in that very moment, I think one of my monitors turned off or my video card's dying or something like that. Not sure, but we're here.
That's
Less of a
classic.
train wreck than you saw the last 2 hours, at least.
Oh no! Oh God!
So I'm just repopulating these. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you had some rough games. I would say that your first game was really good. I was definitely impressed with that one.
Wait,
That
really? I thought it was only the first 15 minutes I felt really good about.
Oh yeah, that's definitely how I describe it as well. First 15 minutes was definitely really solid though. I thought you did a good job on the first 15.
That's a relief because the thing that I'm trying to work on is, I feel that a lot of learning is kind of like trying to shoot a basketball shot from a certain angle, right? Like
Uh-huh.
if you're just working on free throws, your goal is not to learn how to make free throws. Your goal is to increase the percentage that you make free throws. And the good news is that a free throw takes place over the course of about a second, right? You get in position, you shoot,
Yeah.
and it's in or it's not. A Dota game takes about 45 minutes. So, like I'm trying to increase the percentage of certain aspects of my game. And the early game was definitely my number one focus because in the offline games, that's been my biggest struggle
Hmm.
is balancing zoning versus pull throughs versus ganking. So that was like I could feel myself dialed into that. I don't know how much I talked about that before the game, but that was like what I was dialed in on.
Okay, because
Um,
you had some aspects where you definitely had advancement, and you had some parts where you regressed as well. And I feel like you're kind of at the point where you're getting information overloaded, kind of similar to the roaming episode, where there's so many things that you could do. And you,
it also could be that I'm not regressing, just that I previously did things correctly accidentally. Like, because for
also
me,
possible.
I think about percentages where I've done some sick plays. Like I remember week one, I did the sick lion play,
Yeah, that was good.
and I would describe it as accidental. I would describe that as if you watched me do 100 lion plays, that would be the one play that you'd go, that one was good, right? That was pure luck. And I want to be able to say that I can do things good consistently of my own input, not because of the
Okay.
volatility that happens in a Dota game.
From my perspective, observing it, it looked more like you made those successful things before because you didn't have so many things to think about as you were doing them. Therefore, you were able to just focus on important things like how much HP do I have? Is this guy going to kill me? Are
That
creeps
would be
attacking
good.
me?
I
And
would
this,
love for
and
that
like the
case.
last two games, you were just like, I got to gank, I got to gank. There's a bounty rune. Let me sprint across the map to get a bounty rune. I got to be efficient, and it just felt kind of like
Yeah.
2K Sean. And I know that you're not at that level, so I think it was just a bit of a rough day. So let's take a look at some of the clips.
Yeah, I mean, especially this Crystal Maiden games. Like, I just want to know, there's this feeling that happens, and no, come back to me, come back, ignore the
Go
games.
for it.
There we
Go
go,
for
there
it.
we go. There's this thing that happens to me mentally, and I feel it really a lot in StarCraft because, a lot of the games out there, like Overwatch, Counter Strike, Dota, games that require mechanical skill.
Hmm.
Not like Hearthstone. Hearthstone requires no mechanical skill, and when I fuck that up, that's just because I fucked that up, okay? But it has nothing to do with mechanical skill. But in games like Overwatch or Counter Strike or Dota, these are games where I would describe it as spikes of intensity. You can kind of click lackadaisically around if you're in mid lane, and okay, get ready for the last hit, and there it is. Okay, I don't want to try to throw it at my Q, and there it is. Right there's these moments. If you play Brood War, it is one long continuous string of accurate mouse clicks. Like
Hmm.
literally, you need to do 2 to 3 accurate mouse clicks every second, and it's like just like continuously. And if my brain is off, I'll miss every other one, which adds an extra quarter second to half a second of time every second or so that I'm trying to do this, and I'll just completely whiff on everything. And that felt like today. That felt like I just couldn't do anything properly. Like, fuck, I gotta say. I've played thus far 525 matches, and this was one of the days where I felt the most off of any in my all my playing of Dota. It was shit. It felt like shit, Kevin. It felt like
I felt
bad.
that. I felt that for you too. It was definitely one of the weaker
Jesus
days.
Christ, I gotta train more, man. I
But,
gotta train
but that's
more.
okay. I mean, you're definitely learning things, and you have you mostly had improvement days, so it's okay to have a bad day once in a while. And part of it,
Yeah.
I think, is just your understanding of CM as a hero is weak. And sometimes there are characters like that you just don't fully get, and you will end up feeding
Really
repeatedly.
felt that.
And that's kind of why you kept getting put in bad spots.
And I credited it after game 2 to that I didn't properly prepare myself for the transfer, because this is something that has happened to me before where, I'm used to Zerg and Brood War, and I switch to Protoss and I have to stop and go, and what the hell am I doing? And if I don't answer that question beforehand, I get screwed.
Yeah.
But then in game 3, I really said, here's what I'm trying to do. And it still went terribly, which really shows me that it wasn't that I wasn't
that's not true.
thinking about CM properly. Really? Because
you had different mistakes between game 2 and game 3, basically.
Oh God, both games felt terrible to me. Both games felt like I thought that maybe this was an issue in game 2, but I felt like game 2 and 3, after game 3, I thought, I'm really just messing up Crystal Maiden, and maybe I should not play her.
If after game 2, that's what I felt like. Game 3, you were towards the right path, but your first 4 minutes was bad. Was basically the issue. So let's hop on the game. So we'll go over the Bane stuff first.
I'm really excited about this.
We can start with the good stuff. So this is not the one that I wanted to start on. So I took some long clips. This one's about 14 minutes long. So your start was great. You zoned the Enigma. Your starting item build is fine. I'm cool with this. You came over here to stack the large camp. It didn't really work. We're going to accelerate things a little bit.
Great.
Then you went to zone the Enigma again. So at this moment, I think you could have done something kind of cool. If you wanted to, if Enigma leaves like that, and it's obvious that he left, one thing you could do is go to where he is going to be and go mess with him. So you could have just walked over here to the jungle and messed with him. You did that sometimes, but you could have done it right now if you wanted to.
Okay, let me make sure I understand, because there's the concept of messing with him, but what makes this work, I would assume, is that I have Tangos and Brain Sap skilled. Therefore, I will almost certainly be able to screw with him in a way that doesn't kill me or put me behind in trading.
Yes, it's not so much about the Tangos, it's about your hero plus the items you have. Because if Crystal Maiden tries to go mess with an Enigma, she's 275 movement speed base. Your Bane without Windlace is 310. So you're 35 movement speed faster than Crystal Maiden would be. So what you can do as a Bane and what she can do as a Crystal Maiden are vastly different things. Her base damage is 39 on average. You're 62 right now. It's 50% more damage from right click, and you have 4 armor, and you have way more movement speed, and you have Brain Sap. It's
Brain Sap.
4
Boom.
things. It's 4 things that make you effective at doing that. So you should know I can trade better against an Enigma. I'm 330 movement speed right now. That's most heroes with boots, or at least slow heroes with boots. So you have this big advantage where your goal could be, I just want to mess with the Enigma. You didn't do that, but that's okay, because you chose the next best thing, which is pull. So the bad habit that you created after the last time that I taught you how to pull is you relied way too much on this standstill aggro thing. And you underestimated the range. The range is like this. And you always stopped way too early. If you just run straight out, these creeps will probably run to about here. So what you should have done in almost all of these was just pulled through, not done the stop moving thing. Because when these attack you, it's just creating a little aggro bubble. So this is a move, and I maybe should have specified this more last time. This is a move that you should do sometimes, not every time. You should do this when you need the extra reach, and you know that they're not going to pull far enough.
I see. Yeah, because so contrasting. Previously, I did not realize that I could even get my lane creeps to go attack the camp if they attacked me. I did not even realize. And once you said it, I was like, oh, of course that makes sense. It clicks. But before then, I was just trying to run them in range of each other. And so since then, I have been doing this in my CPU practice. I actually practiced a lot against AI. And I'm still very mediocre.
I don't think you got one pull through done in all 3 games. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
you made a mistake in all of them.
Yeah, I think at best I got the 3 melee creeps in there.
Yeah.
The big thing, though, is that I'm better at my timing based upon the random output of my actual pulls I'm better at being able to pull through based on their damage, but still not getting it.
Yeah, I did notice that part. There was an improvement there. So because you miss this pull, it ends up being you kill the small camp, you get some of the last hits, but ultimately really delayed compared to what it should be, which means you have less levels. I also maybe would have liked you to finish the creep here, but it was kind of cool that you stacked the large camp as well. Either way, this was your best early game out of the three, without question. Enigma's back.
Yeah.
You see him going over here. You start running over here. I think that was a vision thing. I thought it was kind of weird how you're sprinting over here. I'm guessing it was for the bounty rune, though.
It was for the bounty rune, and also because I had been judging how much Enigma had been gone from lane, so I thought either Enigma's here and approximately the same level as me. Either
did you not see him just now when you walked by? I'm confused.
No, I did.
Okay.
But like the reason I projected myself from my side to their side was I can get the rune, and at the very least I can fuck with this Enigma because it would be surprising if he could kill me. It would be really shocking to me if he could kill me.
Yeah, agreed. You should have gotten more Eidolon hits, and this was a huge waste of time to... Like, these are pretty much full. There's no reason for you to try to kill them. You should have just left, basically.
Yeah. This was confusion, because my initial plan was to mess with him, and then when he went away, I was like...
I mean, you basically solved the problem by getting 2 Eidolon kills. That was a good thing to do. But now you're kind of under-leveled because you almost did really good things this game. Like, you did the right things, but you slightly mis-executed them, and that's why you're still level 1 here at 3 minutes. You should have had at least 1 full pull-through. You could have grabbed probably a bounty rune and also messed with the Enigma a bit. Stacking this was okay because you could do it, but then when you actually pull this through, then it's even harder to do the pull-through afterwards. And you did the same thing again. Like, you just blocked these guys from even being able to walk through, and instead you could have had a full creep wave.
100% my thought process was, I need to stop in order to aggro them. So I guess that's incorrect. I need to walk through to lane more often.
The creeps can either meet within aggro range, or if you need extra range, you can let them throw a projectile, and as the projectile's in there, then you walk towards your creeps to create the aggro.
I think what happened in my head is that I was struggling so much with pull-throughs that letting them attack me provided so much of a benefit to doing that. I'm overvaluing it. So that's great that you're saying that. So that way I'll adjust and try to state, can I get them to be in aggro range of each other? And then therefore, after the fact, I can maybe get hit, so that way I can ensure that it happens instead of trying to do it every time.
If it's a bad pull-through, if they're not going to be exactly where you need them to be, you can recontrol where the aggro point goes based on a ranged attack.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So we are now level 2 at 4 minutes into the game, which is pretty good. We'll just super accelerate things at this point. Probably tanked a little bit too much damage here, but I did like the the range creep. That's good.
This is the big thing that I felt is with letting them hit me, my health just got fucking low, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you have no stout shield. Stout shield is the best way to block creep damage. So as a result, you did this a lot in your CM game as well. There's tons of times where you just lost tons of HP. Rather than buy boots here, I think it would have been better maybe if you just went back and continued pulling. But either way, the fact is that you did gain experience by yourself without sapping it from the Medusa, and I think she's like level 4 or 5 right now, which was very good. All right, so this is the perfect example of the aggro thing. You pulled it too late, right? So actually, let's slow this down. Pulled it too late. So what you should do right here, as soon as that spear comes out, as soon as that's thrown, you should start walking to the right. That way, the spear will follow you, and as it hits you, it creates an aggro circle. So, you almost did this perfect.
I realize I understand what's going wrong in my brain, which is that I recently learned precisely how Nightmare works. So for any of you who don't know, that's Bane's E, which is you cast it on someone, they're Nightmare, they're disabled for 4 to 7 seconds, depending on your level. And the Nightmare transfers upon the right click, not upon the...
throwing of animation.
Not upon the collision of the projectile with you. So if you just do it at all, at any point, it will go off. And I think that I've been thinking about that a lot without even realizing it. Because I realize now, when that happened, you were like, start moving. And that was literally off my radar. That was not even on my radar. I was just thinking, I'm in this position, and this is all I got. Makes total sense that if I walk away and then I wait for the collision to hit me, my range creep will be like, whoa, I'm coming back home, boys.
Yeah, I probably could have done better shows with diagrams or something like that. Might have been good. This is your first pull through. You got a creep. and a catapult. I'd like to point out that you wasted a lot of time sitting around to try to deny this. You could have walked all the way over to a bounty or walked over to the air bounty a little bit earlier. So basically everything you did in the first 6 minutes was almost right, but definitely misexecuted. And you could be at least
get good at sport. Fuck.
You could be like probably at least level 4 here. And now by the time your first 5-6 minutes goes weak, then anything you try to do afterwards is always gimped. And that's a consistent problem that you hit all 3 games. But on the bright side, this game, from here on, you did a really good job, I think. Your ganking reminded me a lot of the other game that we watched where you played Bane, where you had good attack paths. Like, this is all good movement. You're wrapping around. I mean, part of it is just that Bane plus Pudge is a really good gank combo.
Sure.
So you get like the easiest hook rot kind of a thing. And that's why this is good. Like that. At first I was like, why is he leaving the lane? He should just go pull because he's under leveled. But that was solid. Definitely impacted the map really well. And your next couple roams were good too.
After about 3 or 4 minutes from here, say 11 minutes onward, I felt like I did nothing but make mistakes.
Kind
would
of.
Be my analysis of
it was more like team fight decision making mistakes, basically. Like right here. I don't remember this one too much. You definitely cast a lot of spells on creeps this game, but
God, I don't know what the fuck was.
So, do you see kind of like how you approach this? This is basically, all right, basically what you're about to do on screen here is pretty much what you did every single time that you're a Crystal Maiden. You went to that shrine, you walked this way towards a bounty rune, I assume, because you're like, hey, there's a bounty rune on the map. But realistically, it's 7 minutes. Somebody grab this every time. And
this
then you,
was me trying to yank, for sure.
And then you just hang out in this area, and shit kind of happens. So it's like you're at this middle point, knowing that you should be ganking, but you don't know how to do it, which always puts you in this crap situation in this part of the map, where they probably have wards, and they generally see you coming. And you kind of just keep walking into these bad situations. And this is pretty much the biggest problem. And this was, in my opinion, kind of a failing of me not showing you how to get into position to gank properly. Instead, I told you that you need to do it. And that's kind of, I feel like that's partially on me, because that's a lot of what we talked about today.
You know, like, so let me take it off you and put it back onto me.
Okay.
Which is, I looked at this situation, and if you pause it for a moment, I'm looking at the minimap. I'm saying, okay, bottom lane, we got Medusa, who's doing great, who's pushing, farming. I could try to reset the creep equilibrium, but I think Medusa has got it on her own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that she's under a big threat. I've been monitoring people on the minimap. We've just killed Tinker in mid. Cool. So as you see on the minimap, Tinker's pushed in. What is another lane in which I can help? Let me go top lane. And this is the full extent of my rudimentary analysis of the situation. Mm-hmm. Let me go to top lane because I think that I've done an okay job early game. I think I've done an okay gank mid. I think I've done, well, I mean, I just fucking died. But let me try to kill the top. And I'm not sure, you know, you say it's on you, but part of me would say I'm not sure what else I would necessarily think at this point in time. I think that I could execute it better, but I'm not sure what would be the different play I would make in an overall sense.
Okay, so the disconnect is that you know that you should be doing something, you go to do something, but you're not looking at the if it's going to be viable. And I think that's mostly because you're looking at the map, you're not looking with your eyes. You need to move your screen places and look at what's there. I think it's really important because I can tell there's an Enigma bot lane, and I can see how much mana he has, but that's only because I'm an observer. If you look at that minimap, you have no idea what his HP is, what level he is, what his items are. Is Medusa in trouble? You're not gathering that info. Like the fact that you even ganked Tinker, I wasn't even completely sure there was a Pudge there by watching your screen, and I didn't even know Pudge was mid because I feel like you're not looking places and gathering that information to think like, if I go top, how is the gank even going to work? Like, you're going to show up where a Faces Void is. Faces Void doesn't have a nuke. So other than Chronosphere, what does a Nightmare setup do for Void? It doesn't do shit.
You're good. Dude, you're so fucking good. Let me explain why you're good. The reason I know Pudge is mid is because of the fact that I have my icons not be arrows, but be actually what the icons of the characters are. But you are 100% correct that I'm not clicking and looking at those spots. And I mean, that's very easy. Like, I don't even have a problem with that. Clicking and looking is super straightforward, but god damn, you're on point. That is precisely what was happening. I went to mid because I saw a Pudge mid, and without even realizing it, I made a variety of assumptions of what his health and mana was at the time.
Yeah, and it worked out, but if you're playing a hero like Bane, you don't have a normal skill set. So you have to think about how you're going to combo. And Bane plus Void, they do not synergize very well at all. Like not even close. Because Void has tons of lockdown, you have tons of lockdown. You need somebody that has like higher damage, maybe with a little bit of lockdown. It's like not the right balance of a hero. It doesn't mean you can't make a gank out of it, but it pretty much means Nightmare is useless, other than setting up for somebody that's way out of position or disabling like the support while you kill the carry. Okay, so that's basically your issue. And you're also thinking, you said before, oh, off lane, we're dealing with him, I ganked mid, that's good. You shouldn't think like, oh, I need to gank every single lane once. You want to gank the places that you know are going to be kills, because if you spend your time there and you don't work out, then you fed anyways. You've done a bad thing. You've wasted your time. So that's part of the issue. Some of the stuff that
I think continuously my weakest area is in position 4 and 5. So I want to focus on that the most in the next few months, for sure. Getting comfortable with that.
It's definitely hard. There's a lot of people that just leave it behind and they think like, I just don't play support, period. And they never get around to it. And that's okay. This is a big mistake to swing through the river instead of the high ground.
Yeah, I talked about this on air because I thought I pathed around the other way, but I
was a little surprised too. It's okay though. Did you save Nightmare on purpose there? I know he was out of cast range.
Mm-hmm.
But did you save it on purpose?
Intentional. I turned the corner and saw that he wasn't TPing, so I was like,
okay.
Oh, all right, well, get sapped, bitch.
Yeah, I would have saved it just in case he tried teleporting during the rupture, basically. So I think that was done well.
Oh, that's a great point. Oh, totally off my radar. Yeah. Beautiful, love it.
Arcane Boots here was good. I maybe wouldn't have ran all the way back to base for it, I think.
So here's something, if you pause it for a moment, there's something that I'm trying to do more. So I don't know, do you know the YouTube channel Dota 2 Pro?
I think I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it, no.
It's just a bunch of high-level pub games of top pros that's really, really useful for me because it is the first-person perspective of a player for the entire game. Yeah. And so that's really useful for me when, I'm trying to avoid too much high-level conceptual stuff, and when I'm trying to say, what does Samael do at 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute? That's different than what I do, like learning from that perspective.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the stuff that we've intentionally skipped in this series as well. It's a lot of basics like that.
Yeah. And I mean, first of all, one of the things that's great is that everything you've said, I can then watch those videos and learn myself. Whereas if I were just playing on my own, I'd be like, I guess at 2 minutes and 37 seconds, I go to the right.
Yeah, that's true.
I would be able to conclude profoundly stupid things from there. But part of what my movement back to the main base is that I have seen a lot of Zeus's, Bane's, supports just come back to base. So I've been trying to incorporate that more into my gameplay. And I don't have any thought process around it. I'm not trying to identify, I'm doing this because X or Y. I'm just going back because I've seen other people do it. So I would love so much this sort of criticism.
It's all about this.
This is fantastic.
It's all about HP and mana. You've got enough money to afford a energy booster, which would eventually get your mana to full. You could probably greed going to Arcane Boots and letting that eventually heal you up. And with mana, you've got Brain Sap.
Fucking Brain Sap.
I mean, ultimately,
ultimately
the biggest thing is that it's time spent out of the base. But this is honestly not terrible for you to do this here because it does fill your HP and mana, which means that you can cast more spells. Do you see what I mean? Like every time you TP to this shrine every time, and you walk this way into the jungle, which is literally the most likely ward. There could be a ward here, there could be a ward here, there could be a ward on your cliff, there could be a ward over here. All those wards spot it. The thing that you need to do if you're approaching a lane to gank is almost always go through the lane. The lane is usually the safest one. If the creep wave's up here, you walk through the lane and you like dip into the trees. That's simple.
Lane is usually the safest one. I just want to take a moment to put that into my brain. The lane is usually the safest one, and I think that...
And think about retreat paths as well. Let's say you go through the lane. What's the escape?
Back or down to the right towards the shrine.
Basically like into your tower, right? Whereas if you're in the river, you are already screwed. Like when you're playing CM, you cross the river. Oh, there's a hero on the cliff looking at me. I'm dead. Every time.
Oh, of course. And I mean, could you see in the games you were observing wards on their side that were spotting me?
I didn't, but they almost always saw you, it felt like. So the approaches that you used just to get on their side of the map was just No, they were poorly done because you were by yourself. You didn't use a smoke, things like that. So if you just want to do lazy, get to their side of the map, see if something happens, just go through the lane, hide in the trees. Because if they don't charge you right away, or if they don't have flying vision, as soon as you get in the trees, they don't know where you are. But if you're over here, there's probably wards, there's heroes that stand nearby, there's people that have above average vision, all that stuff. Makes it pretty straightforward. You came here for levels, which was really good. And then
yeah,
use the tome to get your 6.
One of the things that was deliberate. Yeah!
These guys actually did have a lane ward. But as soon as you get in the tree here, like...
Where's...
This Void was very not so good with his Chronos, but...
Really? I thought it was actually quite good.
That one was bad, because the spacing of it, he needed to do it earlier, basically, to guarantee that the disable came off. Then you flew out a tome. I don't know why you walked to the river. This is the same thing. You're just addicted to bounty runes right now. Way too addicted to them.
Kevin, let me clarify. I'm addicted to bounty runes. Okay.
Okay. Oh, I know. So
no, that's... God, your observations are so crisp. Like, this is exactly what's going on inside my head when I'm playing these games.
This one was good. I think the Rubik was a smurf, by the way, if you feel bad about losing this game. But I'm pretty sure...
No, I didn't feel bad about this game. The okay. 2CM games, I actually felt really sad inside. And, you know, I was raised Catholic. So what you do with the pain that you feel is you hold it right under your heart, right here, until you die. That's what you do with it,
What
right?
about confession, man? Come on. You can tell the priest about it if you feel comfortable.
That's right.
That's about it, though.
Father, okay. Father, I didn't gank well in game 2. And he's like... It was embarrassing, my son.
So at this point in 12 minutes, your KDA is good, 202. Your polling was bad, but honestly, your levels are pretty good for this point. I think this game was a success. I'd say it's slightly above average at this point. The parts where you basically floundered was that you casted your spells on the wrong people consistently, and you did not use smokes enough. I mean, we're 12 minutes in. You have a 5-second ulti stun. Get a smoke, grab a damage hero, and go somewhere and kill people. And you should do that every time your Fiend's Grip is up, basically.
God, yeah, you know, for some reason, and I talked about this after game 2, that I found it really hard to just keep track of this shit. Like, I found it just hard to track, like, are there smokes? Should I be doing X and Y and Z? My brain's a little slow today for whatever reason.
Yeah, I could definitely tell that. It happens sometimes. Totally normal. See what I mean? Past the shrine to the bounty rune. No bounty rune. Let's set up a gank. It's like every gank you were doing was just lazy as fuck. Just super lazy.
Look, it's tummy time. Look, we're gonna get some sheriff with tummy time. No. You're not gonna go to that.
And this attempt at the Luna, this is the most dangerous shit I've ever seen. Luna has enhanced night vision. If she has Eclipse, you literally walked into it like 8 times this game. She literally just has to press Eclipse, Lucent Beam you once, and you're dead.
Yeah. 100%, totally
like,
agree.
Right here, I'm like, why is he not dead right now? Like, where's the Eclipse? Any second, she's gonna kill him.
I was trying so hard to nightmare that fucking.
Yeah, I know, but he's juking, and when you try this hard for a gank for this long, like this has been at least 30 seconds. Somebody's gonna be there. Somebody's gonna show up, and you did a little bit both games. But if you chase somebody for 30 seconds, they'll be there, and you got to give up.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. You were about to hit the core point, which is that if you're there,
and chasing somebody for that long, there will be people that show up, and the longer that it takes you to execute your gank, the higher chance it is that it's going to turn bad because they show up with enough heroes. Like that happens all the time. So that was just a sloppy gank. You could have waited in the trees until more allies showed up, and then wait till she shows, and then go in. But you turned it into this like sloppy ass gank that was just likely to fail. So you got to be. Your problem now is you kind of know what you should be doing, but you're being way too sloppy in general. You're playing every hero like a roaming hero.
Fucking right.
You're playing every hero like a roaming hero, but you're not a bounty hunter. You're not a Ricky. You can't do lazy shit like that because they're gonna see you, they'll kill you, things like that. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know that it's lazy. I think I'm being smart, but identifying it as a problem, 100%.
But you make problems. You make mistakes along the way. That's the issue.
Yeah.
So because you make mistakes along the way, it just becomes a lot harder than it should be. This tower pressure was fine, but you didn't have an observer ward behind the building. Something you said is you didn't know how to keep track of smokes and things. If you have empty item slots as a support, you're fucking up. There should be a smoke in your inventory. It could be a raindrop. It could be a wind lace. It could be a pair of sentries.
Interesting.
Like you've got 6 slots and 3 backpack. Like you can afford 50 gold to grab a smoke and just hold it. That way, if you see an opportunity, you swap it in, you pop smoke, and you get in there. And guess which way you're gonna run? through the fucking river to the enemy side into the bounty ring. Like, consistently, every fight that you have, you're just putting yourself in the shittiest situation ever. Double cliff, man. There's a double cliff here. And it just guarantees that they can almost always see you coming. Like, look at this. It's very clear they have wards there because they had 4 heroes instantly. Well,
okay.
All right. How often are there going to be 4 heroes right here?
Dude, I'm 3K MMR. The answer is all the goddamn time.
Not possible. Say that? Because they're not going to stand there next to the bounty rune. I mean, maybe they were for 6 seconds, but you should be able to look at these things and be like, hey, there was way too many heroes here. I think there's a high chance that they go for a kill on me.
God, or that so fantastic. You know, if it's possible, depending on how much time we have, I'd love to do 2 live coaching sessions. I don't know if you're available for that.
We'll probably do that, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I am less interested in succeeding than I am in learning, and I just have been trying so fucking hard with this.
Yeah. Your comment earlier about like banging your head against the wall, I was like, I don't know what he's talking. After watching those games, I understand. And that's part of the problem with letting you just go off by yourself and play 3 games in a row banging your head against the wall, because I can't just tell you what you're doing wrong instantly and help you fix it. It's just like 3 games of pain, and we haven't even gotten to the pain yet. Small mistakes here. Ursa misunderstanding. If Ursa stops being stunned, he's going to turn on his ulti and then take 20% of any damage dealt. So you needed to Fiend's Grip him before he stopped being stunned by Pudge. Because he didn't, all of this Fiend's Grip damage you're doing to him sucks. And that is why this guy lived, because you Fiend's Grip too late.
That fucking bare-ass piece of shit, man. I fucking hope he gets no honey, breaks his dumb knees, and basically his claws get removed.
So there's just a lot of problems like that, where you use your abilities on the wrong person, or didn't use them at the right time. And that's kind of the hard part about playing Bane and team fighting stuff later in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a Jerax and a Zai game of Bane, and 2 things I noted is that they're very cautious in terms of pre-fight positioning, and they're both very aggressive about enfeebling particular characters before X and Y big event happens.
But that's more of like them likely pushing thing than like enfeeble is not even, I don't even think it's worth talking about today, because it is a skill and it can be useful, but it's not. Like, the important parts of Bane are the first 20 minutes, where you're Fiend's Gripping somebody every 100 seconds and getting good trades and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, this gank as well, similar problem as before. And this happened a few times, if Pudge uses Rot, it's going to instantly break Nightmare. So if he tries to Rot into ulti, Ursa will instantly press ult. So what Pudge needs to do is dismember, then turn on Rot. Or you have to Fiend's Grip first. So by Nightmaring, all you did really was set up your team for 7 seconds to react. Because, see? And now he's wasted his stun, because his stun is only stopping his, essentially, BKB as far as I'm considered. Or as far as I consider it. And then, at this point, you're just in a bad spot, so you ulti to creep again. But, I mean, realistically, it should have been.
That was the one misclick that surprised me, because I talked about this on air in the moment. My cat loves my mouse pad. I got a hard mouse pad. She loves hard surfaces, so she sleeps on my mouse pad. And, I mean, I play games 100 hours a week on my computer, and it has been a problem like 3 times. It has just not been a problem at all. This is not like the easy excuse bank where we get to grab it, but this is like the one time out of like 2 years where it's actually fucked me up, and I wanted to die. Like, if a meteor hit the house and I died and all the cats turned into cinder, I would have been like, well, thank God. Everyone was like, well, of course he misclicked. He got hit by a meteor. Like, I was praying the meteor hit.
So the things you got to look for are, look for this little circle. See that little red circle? That's what you're looking for. Oh shit, I clicked on the wrong thing, and you spam your S key. And you will cancel your animation, and then you will recast it. So if there's ever some clumping crap going on, you gotta look for that circle. Because if it lands on the wrong person, then you gotta realize that and hide your shame, hopefully.
Kevin, listen, this is a live show. There's no hiding the shame. Everyone sees the shame, and everyone understands that the reason it happened is because I'm not diligent about cleaning my mouse and my mouse pad, which is an element completely under my own fucking control. I don't sleep on the mouse pad during the show, Kevin! Ah!
All right, time for some CM shame. All right.
Dude, I don't even want to talk about these games. Like, you're going to talk about them, but I want to convey to you the emotion that I have going into it, which is that everything about this fucking hurt. This just hurts. This sucks. I don't want to even.
What do you think you did wrong? If you could summarize it in 10 seconds.
I mean, given the fact that you're asking, and the only way that I'm able to talk about this is the fact that you asked, which would be, I should use my W on the strong bird and just kill the weak bird. That would be the only conclusion I would possibly make. But other than that, I have nothing.
Okay. You regressed on this in that you forgot about the stack timing at 1. Pull the large one out, kill the large one. Stack it at 53 so another big one spawns. You don't waste your time on the small fry shit, because it takes you forever to kill them, and they give you like 15 gold. So you kind of...
So I'm going to defend this. The reason this happened that confused me is that my ally blocked the 30-second camp. So I got a little flustered and tried to come back here.
I see. If that's the case...
That I can defend. That I was like, don't block it, don't block it, don't block it. I literally screamed at him in the microphone, and he blocked it, which is okay. You know, shit happens. Yeah. But I tried to make the best of it. No, so let me ask. In the instance that he did block it, would the correct maneuver have been to run as quickly as I could to a camp and kill one hard creep on that camp and do it?
Probably not, because like a guaranteed large creep, the only other one is this one over by the lane. You don't really want to mess with those. So you could have checked this one to see if any large creep spawned, aka Centaur. Alpha Wolves are pretty good, or you could have maybe killed the Frost Ogre. The blue one gives more experience. It's a higher level than the orange ones. So you could have killed that waiting for the 1 minute to spawn.
So let me make sure I understand the full loop. So here's what I was doing. So if you go right by the 2 yellow characters, so pause it right now. If you look on the mini map, there's the 2 yellow characters.
Yep.
The yellow arrow and the light yellow character on the left. There's the hard camp right by the dire safe lane.
Yep.
That's the one that I wanted to farm the hard creep on. And that's the one that got blocked.
Oh. Like basically what you did game 3.
I don't remember what I did game 3, but I want to say that that's the one that I was trying to go for that got blocked. And so I remember being a little confused and then running over here.
Oh, okay. You never want to do that one. Because number 1, your offlane heroes might be nearby and they'll steal your experience, maybe your last hits. Number 2, your support might need it for pulling. You never want to do that one. Unless you want to be kind of nearby to help zone the offlaner, which you didn't do either.
So when I watched OG and...
Their CM, did they do it?
Oh, all the time in not the Manila Major, the Kiev Major, excuse me. Okay. The Kiev premier bullshit-ass fucking big tournament with a $3 million prize pool.
Kiev Major, yeah.
Thank you. The Kiev Major and the Manila Masters, that's what it is.
It's the reason they kind of do that is because they kind of use CM as a mana hero and a sort of zoning hero, but it's difficult because like your nuke is spammable obviously, and it can kind of work against offlaners, but maybe that's the better strategy now that you can't get level 2 really fast. So basically what happened is you just jungled really slowly, pretty much. And then when you roamed, you did a really poor job roaming because you kind of forgot about trading and worrying about your life.
Well, I don't know if it was forgot about trading, as in literally it never entered my brain in the first place, and I thought that it was not a position to do.
What do you mean position to do?
Any of that shit. I mean, I looked at this and I didn't even consider trading. I was like, I need to get farm, blah, blah, blah. You know, let me pause it and let me back up a moment and talk about what my confusion is on this, which is that so there's something that I can process in StarCraft that I call like invisible walls, which is strategies that you essentially never, ever, ever, ever see, but that my strategy is good enough to beat.
Okay.
And the whole reason my strategy exists in the first place is that it can beat the more common thing, but it can also beat this bullshit like a mass Hydra rush or a very quick Muta play. But I know that if I do this Immortal Sentry opening, it will really kill the most dominant Zerg strategy of a Roach mid-game, right? This is the sort of thing that I understand and wrap my head around. And it makes me think about this Crystal Maiden, which is, dude, The thing you want to go for is jungling the large creeps and trying to stack them to get large camp experience to set up for ganks. That's the normative strategy you can do.
Yep.
Now, Sean, if you watched OG in the Kiev Major, you might see them doing the hard camp that's nearby the Dire safe lane. Don't read into that too much. That's a rarer strategy that is enabled because of their teamwork. You need to think of CM as a jungler that's trying to get some essential kills on hard creeps to hit level 2.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. So it could have been lots of
Is that
reasons.
accurate?
Maybe the offlane didn't show up in that game, or maybe because they had a tri lane there, it was okay for CM to pull those creeps on and do them because she could very easily rotate over and get a kill.
Lane, for sure, in the games that I saw. It was single off lane where CM was able to just whack a few times, come back, and
if she doesn't do, and also at that point the only camp respawns were odd minutes. So if she killed the large camp really fast, or at least the large creep, and stacked it, she could always be nearby if the offlane showed up and help kill him, and she could kill those relatively fast without completely gimping the pull, because there should still be a small camp and like a half large camp left over. So they probably did it to be in proximity, but I don't really recommend doing it at your MMR because your supports aren't necessarily going to hide perfectly. I mean, you could make it work. Like, you basically let the Bristleback have a nice lane, because Pugna's a shit support, kind of. So maybe you should have just stayed in lane and killed the Bristle before he got his Bristleback skill, or just been more efficient.
So if you just pause, I'm sorry, I keep asking for pauses. One of the ways that I think, and there's 2 questions I have. The first question is it okay to think like this? There's this idea that emerges a lot in strategy games that I've played, and the 3 being StarCraft, chess, and Go, which is that you hit a mid-game period that you're trying to get to. You're trying to get to that. And since most people play StarCraft here, it's something like, hey, you're Protoss. The point of the strategy against Zerg in Heart of the Swarm is an immortal sentry push. Here's the look of it. And there's the way to defend the Baneling all in, and then to do that. There's the way to defend a Zergling Roach attack early, and then go all in. There's a way to just play against a normal Zerg strategy, and then do that. And the shape of the the shape of the immortal sentry push looks the same in the mid game. It might be slightly later if you got fucked with early, but it looks the same. That's sort of the anchor. There's an anchor that I think about when there's a lot of strategy. Or like if you're in chess and you're doing a Dutch defense, the F pawn. The F-file pawn can fuck some shit up. Be sure to make sure your F-file pawn is in good shape. And it's like those anchors are things that I use to think about whenever you present me anything, without you even saying anything. So, when I saw the Kiev Major videos of Crystal Maiden trying to kill off the safe lane hard camp, I went, okay, that's my anchor. That's the thing I want to do no matter what. That's the really good core central piece, the nugget of the whole strategy. How do I make sure that my safe lane hard camp can be farmed by me, the Crystal Maiden? And so what I want to conclude from that is I should be going to this mid jungle camp and trying to kill off that hard camp there. And my first question is that dumb? Should I not be thinking of the game that way? As, damn, I'm a Crystal Maiden, I want to kill off hard camps. Woo, la la la, I'm going to go to the jungle, hooray. Like, is that an incorrect anchor? Should I be thinking in terms of anchors? And the other side is the more nuanced stuff of, am I responding differently to the situation?
The anchor thing, it's hard to have reference points, but if you play the same hero enough, you should feel like there's some guidelines for that, definitely. But it's just always better to start on large camps, because the creeps, like your Frostbite does the same damage to every creep unless there's magic resistance auras, right? So you should always just get the highest value creep that you can for the same 115 mana, is kind of the thought. And then after you get level 2, you can adjust as needed. Or maybe you spend time sitting in the lane, adding your Frostbite to whatever offlane you're trying to kill, if needed. But you just
Yeah.
like everything just went slow because you did medium camps, because the patch is a little bit different. It's harder for CM to jungle effectively. I mean, maybe another reason that they were jungling the CM near the offlaner is because they wanted that camp to be killed but still farmed by them. Because if that camp is killed, then the offlaner can't pull, for example. So there's just like, I don't know, there's a lot of ways to answer the question. This is a good kill. I like this a lot.
Was this a kill?
Yeah, it was. The sniper got Sunstrike there. That one was good.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, I forgot about that kill entirely, and it amused me greatly.
so this is the part where you started doing a little bit of jungling. You kept checking the creeps, I think, for magic resistance. Is that why you were clicking on them? These
100%.
These just click on the hero and you can see their abilities. All of the little creeps. You can see all their abilities. These little ones, they have a little. It looks like a cloak. That's a magic resistance aura. So
Yeah, I've remembered that the little centaurs were good to the big centaurs, so I was trying to check to see how, at what point in time it had how much magic resist to time the number of shots I needed to make, because it has 110 health.
okay.
I deal 1,000 health and it has 20% magic resistance. So if it disappears, I could do 2, 3, or 4 shots to it.
Okay, so
That's
you're
what I
just
was
checking
trying to
that.
compute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, you never used tangos in this whole time. You had 3 sitting. And then you went to gank the bristleback.
Okay, Kevin, that's enough. That's enough. We're just gonna go ahead and turn the stream off. Oh shit, man! You don't have to talk about the bristleback here. Can you rewind here, because I got very surprised at my own death here.
Okay, well, you went in at about 246 HP.
Fucking really? Shut up, dude. Can we just do this offline? I know I've turned. Oh god.
And you frostbite a
Oh
creep.
god, no! I don't really. Oh
that's
god. Oh shit. Oh fuck! It was a bad day. It was a bad day.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a Cancer. The moon was in the wrong spot. It wasn't me, and I don't even have a good explanation for this. This hurt. Here, I spoke out loud. This is bad. Ah shit, man. Fuck.
That's okay. We can skip the rest of this game. That one was a bit of a train wreck. But-
Well, let's actually not skip it, even though it hurts.
Okay.
I wanna hear clearly if you would say, here are the things you did wrong. I want to know those. I'm ready to go.
This is the issue. You were behind, and then you tried to play a roaming hero, and CM is damage-wise, HP-wise, armor-wise, one of the worst heroes. Her benefit as a hero is that she has pretty efficient disables that have pretty low cooldowns. So your purpose as a hero is to be somewhere at the right time to help limit somebody's movement and ability to get out. And you do pretty good damage for 2 skill points. But the way you were trying to play the hero was a mix of right-clicking and making up for the fact that her nukes are weak. So you kept you were behind, and then you kept trying to literally bang your head against the wall. Like, I'm gonna take this little paper spoon and try to eat my pie, is what you kept trying to do. And you were doing it in bad situations where the creep wave was too strong, and you were tanking creeps, and like CM should not be within attack range of most heroes unless you know that your frostbite is going to guarantee the kill. And you kept just kind of trying it out, let's see what happens. And you did that 5 times early game.
You mean 12 times? Because I did it
Well,
most of the time.
It's giving you the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it had only been 2 times at this 4-minute mark. And then you would kind of default to jungling sometimes, which is okay, not a big deal. But it was just kind of lazy ganking. You would just kind of show up places and kind of do stuff, and just not super efficient use of your time. You're gonna walk across the whole map, run at this ogre that was over here, and this is pretty good. You could use a tango, by the way. You're missing over 100 HP.
Fuck!
Do you understand how Bristle works?
Yes.
Okay.
I know how he works a lot. I really love Bristleback as a hero. I think from a design standpoint, he's amazing. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, I like his design as well. But you can't do stuff like run high ground against a Bristle. Right here, he gets quills off. You're already at 350 HP. And that's just 3 quills and a right click, and you've lost
I don't
everything.
know the exact damage of quills. This is why I was trying to run this way, and then
They're exponential, basically.
Hit him with the W, because I wanted to stay outside of range of his quills.
This was pretty good, but this was so dangerous that he even got to this, pretty much.
I'm a man. Fuck.
And they were really crapping on you here. So, under-leveled, it's 6 minutes in, you're only 3, you have 1... honestly, you're pretty much the same strength as you were at level 1. right now. The only difference is you have boots and you have a mana aura. But it's just so irrelevant. Like, this is kind of a smart gank. Unfortunately, he brought himself a salve, and now you're pretty much just fucked. I can't believe this guy attacked you. You're so stupid. You shouldn't have even gotten that kill. But that was like one of the better times you actually tried to get a kill, because you had backup. It was the Sunstrike. But if you keep like throwing your body at a hero that's way better at trading, who does like 60 damage per second with shrapnel, and you have 2 armor and again missing 200 HP, you're just off today. That was pretty clear. Like, this is not your normal game.
Fuck me. Well, I want to play Bane and CM.
I think that's fair.
For the purpose of learning. Like, I don't want to play them long term. Like, CM doesn't speak to me. I don't give a fuck about CM. If she was deleted from the game because Ice Frog hates ice, that sounds great. I'd be like, whatever, I don't give a fuck, man. But, like, I want to be good at this shit that I feel like I'm bad at. Okay.
We can get there. This is game 2. You didn't stack at 1 minute, and then you did a small camp pull. This is basically worst case of... You did good things, but you did the worst case of good things. Is probably the way to describe it.
So I tried as hard as I could out loud to try to stack the
large one?
Heavy camp, but I couldn't kill them in time. So I deliberately tried to bring less than 4 of them here.
Oh, okay.
So I was very happy.
You did a good job on that then. But the next problem is you lost all your HP.
Can pause for a moment? So my goal was, shit, I didn't kill everyone in the large camp. Let me try to do a partial pull to try to reset the creep equilibrium. Is that a bad thought or is that a good thought? Like,
it's okay.
I feel like I executed it okay for what I wanted to do, but I don't know if that strategic goal was even good or bad.
It was okay, but the thing that you did a really bad job of this game is you pretty much only kept your camera right here. Your camera did not move from this position.
Sounds right.
And there's a Nyx in the game. Like, look at the positioning of the Warlock right now. He's literally behind the Nyx. If you're just there, you could do at least like 400 damage to the Nyx with 3 heroes right-clicking. Yeah. So you kind of were... You're on this like order of operations of decision making, but you just kind of ignored the rest of the game, which is
fuck, Kevin.
Like,
fuck,
this guy over here is literally hitting your Warlock, and you're just sitting here like farming creeps. All right, gonna do a partial pull because I don't want to get the lane pushed out too far. But in the meantime, Warlock's wasting his time trading hits with Nyx when instead you guys could just bully him for a second to try to get a kill. That would have been way better than trying to do a partial pull. And you didn't even check to see if the wave was pushed, which may not. Like, you don't even know.
Well, I glanced at the minimap and saw that it was pushed forward. That's the full extent of what I did.
But again, you got to count the range creeps. You got to see the relative HPs. If they're equivalent, then yes, it's going to be fine. But you didn't even check that. And then you ended up losing, like, I don't know, probably 2 tangos worth of HP as you sit here and trade hits.
100%. 2 tangos.
And this guy alone is going to do a ton of damage to you. And I just would have frostbit him. Like, you didn't end up using frostbite.
Bitch.
And look at the time right now. Because it took you so long to kill him with your right click because you were trying to save mana, you blocked the camp. You could have been at a bounty rune already, and your mana's full anyways. And at this point here, your mana's full, and you still have like an extra 50 mana from your clarity. So it wouldn't even matter if you use frostbite. So you're gonna walk to the bounty rune late, and you just at level 2. So that's a little bit better than last game. You stole their bounty at least, but this is the part where you're just like super bounty rune addicted. You rotate it over to try to help, but like it's not the right time to pressure this guy. Like, you frostbite him, but then you take like 4 tower hits, so now your HP's gone, and now you just kind of like gimped yourself. You tank creeps as well on the way over. You should have been careful about that. So that's all going to add up. The camp that you blocked earlier is just now respawning, and now you grabbed the other bounty.
So I would really love a hard support early game coaching, because everything you're saying makes sense, but then I ask myself internally the question, what do I do to adjust this sort of thing? And I'm certain that I would be confused in the next game I play in almost the identical way. So I just really fucking suck at this shit.
Okay, step 1 is, can we kill the offlane hero? Is the creep wave in a good place where we can get behind him and right-click him enough to kill him? Nyx is kind of a hard kill, but you could show up and like frostbite him or right-click him like 6 times, and Warlock could right-click him like 6 times, just to like scare him. And then you could go back and do a pull. Or you could just start pulling and do a connect pull perfectly. That'll deny experience. But you need to do one of those 2 things better. Right now you're doing this like halfway thing that isn't super efficient.
Yeah, that very much so sounds like my mindset. A little of this, a little of that, trying to make sure I do all of the things on the support list.
Yep. When it's more important that you choose the things that you're going to do and you do them very well, rather than saying, I want to grab every bounty rune, be here to pressure a little bit. It's like everything you should do should just be maximized.
Yeah. Oh God.
And
It's like
you gotta stop
I
missing
don't
calls,
want to
too.
be the Cheesecake Factory where I have one of every single dish. I want to be like Homeroom, that is a gourmet macaroni and cheese joint that makes the best macaroni and cheese. It does one thing perfectly.
I get like 4 menu items at least, but
Dude,
something
they
like
have
that.
jalapeno popper mac, smoky bacon mac, classic mac.
Okay, just all mac and cheese. I get it.
Mm.
You went to gank mid. You didn't look at mid. You just now look at mid. Your positioning is not good. You also have a tango that you're sitting on that you could have used. It was also obvious he was going to go for the bot rune because he was sprinting from top rune all the way to bot rune, and you had gotten the bot rune. Therefore, he should think that it's bottom. And then you're
Right.
catching up, and by the time you do finally catch up, is another example of you just over chasing, and they just avalanche tosses you because you're a crystal maiden versus a tiny. That's dangerous shit what you just did. You can't walk high ground against him.
Fuck.
Got to keep a little bit distance between you because if he tosses you in the air while he's doing avalanche, it doubles his avalanche damage. So you got to force him to separate a bit. And now begins like 20 minutes of you TPing to the shrine to grab a bounty to cross the river and go die over there.
Something I really, really want to do is when we do our live session, I want to make sure that you give me the chance to say what I think I should do and then quickly tell me what I should be doing.
Okay. We can do
Because I think my struggle is, because I mean, there's 2 layers of it. There's the knowledge that's base level, and then there's the process, which is like, the knowledge is like, how do I figure out? The knowledge is like, what should I do here? The process is, what should I be figuring out how to do here? Right?
Yeah.
Like, you mentioned Tiny against Crystal Maiden. Okay. There needs to be some trigger in me that goes, can I even go high ground in the first place? Because if you tell me don't go high ground against Tiny, that'll be useful only against Tiny. But if it's like, should I even go there in the first place? It starts to trigger in my head a thought process. So I want to make sure that when we do coaching, I have the opportunity to state to you openly my fucked up thought process, my incorrect thought process, so that can be corrected. So I can see how to adjust that.
Okay, I will do my best.
And then I'm ready to fucking win, Kevin.
Well,
I want to fucking win.
Let's give it a shot, because I think we could spend literally hours, I think, watching the beginnings of those games. So let's, hopefully you get the hero you want.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to take a little break, guys, and then we're going to do some live coaching. See you guys.
Oh, we are? We're not going to go on to game 3?
That was game 3. Might have found a game right away. That's okay. We'll take a small break. See you guys in a sec. Are you ready for this?
Yeah!
Okay. All right. We'll be back. 1 sec.